Hello YouTube. Now, I know that over the course of the past couple of days, couple of months, there has been a lot of media hype about certain people, right? Reverend Wright, for one. I mean, I think they covered the Reverend Wright story for about a month straight. And just so we got our facts straight here, the reason why everybody was upset at Reverend Wright was because he said "goddamn America" for one thing, and because he advocated in his church, I guess, that he thinks the U.S. government was responsible for giving black people AIDS. And of course that Barack Obama went to his church for 20 years, right? Now, if you were to ask me, why do you think the Reverend Wright story was a month-long story? First of all, I'd say I don't know, okay? Because in my opinion, and I'm sure in a lot of political junkies' opinions, the fact of the matter is that a story like that they run over and over on a 24/7 loop, is a story that is clearly a diversionary tactic to get you, the voter, the listener, away from the issues that matter, okay? Now, wouldn't that time have been much better spent discussing in detail the finer points of Barack Obama's health care plan, Hillary Clinton's health care plan? Wouldn't we have been better off talking about who died in Iraq and how many people died in Iraq, both Iraqi civilians and American soldiers and things of that nature? Wouldn't we be a much healthier nation if we were much more well-informed about the economic policies of the people running for president, so that when they get into office we can hold them accountable for the plans that they proposed, right? But no, instead we'll do stories about people not wearing flag lapel pins and stuff like that. Okay, but since that seems to be the case, that the media doesn't give up on these ridiculous stories, I figured, well, since all of these stories have been to attack the Democrats, why not bring out some ammo to attack the conservatives? Right, to attack the Republicans. Something you don't hear often, or at all actually, on any of the news channels, are John McCain's insane supporters and insane pastors. Okay, now I know everybody's probably thinking, well, what do you mean he doesn't have any, right? And that would be a product of you watching the media and not knowing, right? But the people that read and do the research, there are a couple things that we've been able to dig up in John McCain's past. Now, keep in mind, just like I think the Reverend Wright thing is irrelevant, I think that these things are irrelevant also. But since the media insists upon making Barack Obama look bad because of his connections, why not make John McCain look bad because of his connections? Reverend Rod Parsley, who McCain called his spiritual advisor, okay, here's some of the things that he said. Islam is an antichrist religion that intends through violence to conquer the world, right? Now, before I continue reading this, I just want to say that most of this information, you guys could check my favorites when you're done watching this video. I got most of this information from the Young Turks, who did a fabulous job discussing the person who I'm going to talk about next, and Brave New Films, who gave me the information about Rod Parsley, right? Second thing he said, America was founded in part with the intention of seeing Islam destroyed. Really? Because there's clearly no evidence of that, and I don't know about you guys, but I think anybody that advocates that position deserves to get some media coverage, assuming that Reverend Wright's getting media coverage for saying "goddamn America." No. Muhammad received revelations from the demon spirits, not from the living God. America has historically understood herself to be a bastion against Islam in the world. I do not believe our nation can truly fulfill its divine purpose unless we understand our historical conflict with Islam. This guy's not advocating war, right? We were built for the battle. We were created for the conflict. We get off on warfare. Now, this is John McCain's spiritual advisor. Alright? Now, what I think we should really do to gauge how cuckoo this guy is we should get a group of people together and conduct a study, right? And ask them, what do you think is more inflammatory? Somebody saying "goddamn America" and talking about a cuckoo conspiracy theory that says that the U.S. government gave AIDS to black people, or a guy who's literally calling for war with Islam. Mind you, there are a lot of moderate Islamic people, but apparently he doesn't give a fuck about them either, right? Obviously he wants to destroy Islam because it's an anti-Christ religion. Okay? This guy gets no coverage. None whatsoever. The next guy, G. Gordon Liddy. This guy's donated $5,000 to the McCain campaign, and he held a fundraiser at his house for John McCain. Okay? He participated directly in Watergate. He spent 4 years in prison because of it. He said this when he was asked about the Branch Davidian situation in the 1990s in Waco, Texas. If the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms insists upon a firefight, give them a firefight. Just remember, they're wearing flak jackets and you're better off shooting for the head. So, wait a second. This is a guy who held a fundraiser for John McCain at his house, okay? And he advocated shooting federal agents in the head. Could you imagine for just 1 second if one of Barack Obama's supporters or somebody that held a fundraiser at his house for Barack Obama advocated shooting federal agents in the head? Would that not be a 5-week news story? He said, on Vietnam, I wanted to bomb the Red River dikes. It would have drowned half the country and starved the other half. There would have been no way the Viet Cong could have operated if we had the willpower to do that. In other words, if you kill everybody in Vietnam, we would have won the war. God, why are you guys so silly? You should have just done that. Is there any way to defend this stuff? And as if that wasn't enough, alright? One more thing here, and this one is by far the worst. G. Gordon Liddy on Hitler. Quote, when you listened to Hitler on the radio, it made you feel strength inside. I have never known that strength before. Hitler's sheer annal of confidence and power of will entranced me. It sent an electric current through my body. Wow. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying to themselves, well, Kyle, hold on 1 second. Clearly Mr. McCain does not believe the things that this guy believes and does not advocate the things that this guy advocates. I mean, you're crazy to think that, right? Well, first of all, I don't necessarily think that. But instead of me telling my opinion on the issue, let's go straight to John McCain to see what he has to say about this guy, okay? When McCain was on Liddy's radio show, quote, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your family. It's always a pleasure for me to come on your program, Gordon, and congratulations on your continued success and adherence to the principles and philosophies that keep our nation great. I can't, for the life of me, understand why Rod Parsley, G. Gordon Liddy, Reverend Hagee, who I'm not even going to cover in this video because I'm sure all of you know already that he's crazy and that McCain was happy to get his endorsement, why these guys aren't running on a 24/7 loop, right? I mean, they talked for Obama, they talked about Reverend Wright for a month, they talked about William Ayers, they talked about Farrakhan, they talked about so many people, and they said, oh my God, he knows these people, can't vote for him, he's crazy, right? He clearly believes the thing that these people believe, right? He knows Farrakhan, obviously he believes everything that Farrakhan believes. Come on. The nation is having a discussion like we're 7-year-olds. And it's pathetic, and it's really hurting the country, and it's definitely going to hurt the country in the long run. Okay? But if you're going to insist on having that babyish conversation, don't make it one-sided. Thanks for watching this Secular Talk.